Jeff Schmidt here. This video discusses the top 10 things that people realize well into retirement that they regret. The data, by the way, comes from research that we've done right here on YouTube and other research on the subject as well. Watch this video all the way to the end because the information could change your life. All right, let's get going. Tony Robbins has a powerful and, might I say, emotionally draining exercise that he does in his seminars called the Dickens pattern. In this exercise, Tony takes his audience ahead in an eerily accurate way, 5, 10, even 20 years in the future, and shows them what their life will look like if they don't change the trajectory that they're in today. Then, after having them sit there in their own future for a considerable period of time, he brings them back to the here and now when they discover that they still have time. I've done this a few times with Tony, and let me tell you, it has changed my life. What the audience experiences 5, 10, 20 years in the future is all of their regrets and, frankly, the things that they should have done or should have avoided but didn't do so. Many of these would be common sense and would be easy to change if they had a little bit more time, even just a few days. But in Tony's seminar, their time was up. There was nothing that I discovered in the room, by the way, that I didn't already know, at least intellectually. But Tony forced the audience to live with those decisions, at least those decisions if they were in the future. The problem is that unless you go to a seminar like that, you're not really able to determine which decisions will impact your future the most or already have impacted your future the most and need changing. But this video is the next best thing, because we're going to outline what many people in retirement have already experienced and what they regret. All right, let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure you click the like button. YouTube uses the number of likes in its algorithm to push a video up in the search results, and I want to help as many people as possible. The most common regret among retirees is that they had the financial means to retire earlier but continued to work because they had a specific age in mind. Often they oversaved, which I suppose is a good thing. It's better than the other way around. But in doing so, they lost years of potential time in retirement. And because they were holding on to the end, they didn't consider other options like easing into retirement with a part-time job, for example. In the end, once they made the move, they wondered what took them so long. Number 2 was when one partner was financially savvy and the other knew nothing at all, and the partner suddenly died. The remaining partner, who knew nothing about finances, was forced to figure out how it all worked, and they didn't get it right. Unfortunately, this one's all too common. One partner knows everything about the household, the finances, all of the passwords to all of the money accounts, and is probably the primary breadwinner of the family. They pass before transferring any of that knowledge to their partner, and they haven't really set up a system so that the remaining partner has the ability to decode everything that's out there. Oftentimes, they don't even know how much money is in the savings accounts and investment accounts or how much the partner was making. They just know it all happened around them. Occasionally, the partner that didn't know anything about the finances actually rejected the opportunity because it was all Latin to them and they didn't want to take the time to learn. After all, they have an expert in the family. Why do they need to know anything about the family finances? This is a mistake, by the way, on so many levels. Make sure that your partner has a way to unlock the financial information that is in your head, either through a financial planner or through good organization, or both. Regret number 3 is that they spend too much initially. When you go into retirement, you don't have a roadmap on how much to spend, particularly if you're doing it all yourself. And so when you enter retirement, people have a tendency to either really underspend, they're super frugal, or they overspend because it's that point in their life that they want to enjoy and they know it. That's when they have all of the energy, and so they really go for it. Unfortunately, what is initially a time and place decision, I'm going to enjoy life at this time for a certain period of time, and then I'm going to get super frugal, becomes a lifestyle choice, and people continue on too long. When they're done, they have very little left to spend on the rest of their retirement. Keep in mind that if you spend aggressively in the initial years, your base is going to drop quickly. That means that when you're done spending, you'll have a lot less to work with to build the future years back up again. Point number 4 is putting money first and relationships second. It's very easy in the run-up to retirement to keep your eyes on the prize. I've been guilty of this myself from time to time, but I do try to check myself. This is particularly prevalent if you are a first-generation big earner. Remember that money isn't everything. In fact, it doesn't even make the top 5 of health, purpose, love, family, and time. Point number 5 is not planning for the fact that your energy will decrease over the coming years. In fact, very quickly after you enter retirement in some cases. When you enter retirement, the watts in your generator are high. It's true that they're not as high as when you were in your 30s and 40s, maybe even early 50s, but they're very, very good for someone who has just got out of the workforce. But the simple truth is your energy declines as you age, and it does so at an increasing rate. Even if you think you feel the same energy at age 65 that you did at age 55, by age 75, you will notice the difference. And certainly by age 85, you will notice the difference in mass. So take steps to maintain your energy, exercise, diet, etc., and also plan for it around your lifestyle for the future. Number 6 is not maintaining your residence while you're working. This is a big one because if you don't keep your home in order and in good order while you're working, by the time you retire, you may be faced with some pretty big bills. A new roof, a new boiler, a new air conditioner, all 3. If you maintain your home mechanicals, you can double or even triple their life in most cases. The same is true for your car, by the way, or a boat, and to some degree your roof. Regret number 7 is not engaging with a financial planner early to see all aspects of their financial life clearly. One of the biggest challenges in retirement, and frankly in the lead up to retirement, is that many people, I would say even most people, create their financial plan piecemeal. They start putting their money in different pockets: a 401k, an IRA, a Roth IRA, a savings account, a brokerage account, and by the time they're done, they have a very murky picture of their actual financial condition because it's all not coordinated together. A lack of clarity means that people sometimes miss things like creating a legal structure that allows their heirs to avoid probate, taking out too much or too little insurance, for example, putting the necessary steps in place to keep their taxes down, taking advantage of market volatility, and optimizing the time that they take Social Security, among a dozen or so other decisions. And unfortunately, when someone's in this situation, they often become a victim of financial scams.
911, what's your emergency?
Point number 8 is not finding a new purpose once they retire. As we work through our lives, we have 2 primary purposes in most cases. One is family, and the other is our career. And we focus very hard on both. And depending on who you are, you focus more on one or less on one and more on the other. We focus on career opportunities, progression within our company or outside of our company. We focus on raising the children, if you have children, and getting them ready for their own life. There are a lot of decisions and financial commitments that need to be made and are made during that period. But when it's all done, the children are grown and taking care of themselves, and the job is over, people often feel a void. And unfortunately, when that void opens up, if they don't have a plan, boredom sets in and they find themselves just filling the time with stuff like television or surfing the internet. You get the point. Regret number 9 is that they have too much money locked away in pre-tax accounts like a 401k or an IRA. Tax deferral is great. It allows us to take money out of our checks before we see it and put it into the vehicle of choice. That money grows tax deferred, which means we get the full growth, and at the end we get to take it out. But there is a downside to having only tax-deferred accounts or primarily tax-deferred accounts, and that is, what if your tax bracket actually isn't less when you retire? Because when the money comes out from your accounts, that is taxable income, and you don't have some of the deductions that you had when you were working. More than likely, your mortgage is either paid off or almost paid off. You don't have the child credits on your tax return anymore. And if you take enough out, you could actually be earning more in a given year than you did when you were working. It's times like these where a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, depending on who you are, and other investment vehicles like dividend income generating vehicles are particularly important. They give you less tax or no tax on the earnings that you receive. So consider all tax advantage investing, not just the pre-tax withdrawals from your check into a 401k, when you're considering a more holistic view of what your retirement might look like. The last point is an all too common one, unfortunately, and that is the retiree has undersaved for retirement. And frankly, the longer they go in retirement, the bigger the weight of this outcome is on them personally and their loved one as well. If you like this video, you'll like that video. It's called The 10 Biggest Surprises Your First Year of Retirement. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.